Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of New Family. It's been a minute and I miss you guys so much. So in today's episode, we'll be looking at the just concluded football season, just looking at some highlights, especially the Super Bowl, some of the things we've learned in our previous episodes played out in the Super Bowl. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, but we'll be looking at some of those. We had a halftime show, and we also had some great moments in the NFL this season. So we'll be looking at some of those, and then we'll look at the off-season as it applies to football. What would be happening in the off-season? And then we'll just lay out some future topics that I'll be teaching each other. So I'm excited about this, and let's get into it. So we'll start off with the NFL season. The NFL being the Premier League of American football had so many great moments in the concluded 2025-2026 season. And as football enthusiasts, this is the number one platform for us all to learn. So I hope you paid attention to the game through the year and then you learned a lot. The NFL season had so many fun moments, and it also had some unexpected moments as well. The Philadelphia Eagles came in as the winning champions, and they were highly touted to go again and win another championship. It was a very disappointing year for the Eagles as they struggled to get their offense together, which led to first round elimination in the hands of the San Francisco 49ers. On the flip side, the New England Patriots, a team that had struggled to get its good and productive back-to-back years, had its turnaround when its new head coach was appointed. The team that won 4 games the previous year ended up winning 17 games and making it to the Super Bowl. It represents a great turnaround for this franchise and one that nobody saw coming. In addition to this, we also saw some teams like the Kansas City Chiefs lose out on the Super Bowl. This represented the first time since 2010 when a team led by either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes didn't make it to the conference championship game. So it was a whirlwind year for the Kansas City Chiefs and ended up with Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL and going out for the foreseeable future. In terms of other achievements, we had the Colts, the Indiana Colts. They started off the year very good, but they lost their quarterback, Daniel Jones, and that was a turning point for them. In his replacement, 44-year-old Philip Rivers, a quarterback who had played for a long time, retired for the league, came back, and it was a very interesting moment that shook the whole league. We had the Denver Broncos, they had a very wonderful year. The Baltimore Ravens, they had a disappointing year. The Bills, led by Josh Allen, also had a disappointing year. So it was an interesting season in the NFL as some teams that were expected to produce great results failed to, while some underrated teams stood up to the test of the league and came up with a wonderful season. In terms of individual achievements, we had Matthew Stafford win the NFL MVP after producing a very great year that resulted in the Rams having the second best record in the NFC conference. We also had Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns break the single season record for most sacks. We also had another notable achievement by Cam Little, kicker for the Jacksonville Jaguars, scoring a 68-yard field goal and breaking a record previously set by Tucker from the Ravens. So it was a very great year for the NFL. Some interesting things happened. There was a lot of injuries to some notable players. All of this also led to the Super Bowl. So I want to believe a lot of us, we saw the Super Bowl, and it was a very great game that was played in the city of San Francisco. The Seattle Seahawks, with their legion of doom defense and their squad referred to as the Mob, came up with a great performance against the New England Patriots and won the game by a final score of 29-13. They had multiple sacks on the quarterback and their defense was just flying all around. If you recall, we had discussed about sack and how much he can throw a quarterback off with him. And we saw that happen when Witherspoon, the defender from the Seattle, got to the quarterback, sacked Drake May, the quarterback, and then from the sack led to a fumble, and the fumble was recovered by Uchenna Nwosu, and he took it all the way down to the field. We also had some other interesting moments from the game. We had Kenneth Walker, the running back, won the MVP for the Super Bowl. We had Sam Darnold, who typically does not run, come up with some clutch moments when he ran the ball. We had a lot of bleeds that came from the Seattle Seahawks defense. It was just a very great defensive showdown. Yes, the Seattle defense was exceptional, but so was the New England Patriot defense. The defense was able to limit the firepower that came from Sam Darnold and the offensive player of the year, Jason Smith-Njigba. So it was a very good defensive showdown. If you're a defense fan, I'm sure you really enjoyed the game. It was slow at some points because of players not being able to get yards, but ultimately it's one of the games that will be remembered for a very long time. We also had the halftime show from Benito. It was a great one. The visuals were good, the choreography was good, and he also just tried to highlight the culture of the Latino people. So overall, I enjoyed the Super Bowl, and for the moments that stood out for me, I think it was just the Seattle defense as a whole. They had multiple players lining up, making huge plays, stopping New England from getting yards, and just showing up when it mattered the most. So for you guys, let me know in the comment section which moment stood out for you in the Super Bowl and what did you enjoy. In addition, we also learned a lot of concepts through the year: first down, a sack, a field goal. So which of the points that we've learned so far stood out to you during the Super Bowl? Let me also know in the comment section, and I want to know the students that are paying attention in our class. So this Super Bowl has ended the season, and like I said earlier, NFL is now in what we refer to as off-season. But it's not only the NFL that is in the off-season, we also have college football in off-season, high school football in off-season, and the major leagues that we refer to. We have some other leagues that are low-tiered leagues that play during the NFL off-season, the UFL and XFL being a typical example, but it doesn't get a lot of airplay. So if you are really curious to watching football, I advise that you look out for these games and just watch them. They are typically played indoors, so they're able to accommodate whatever harsh weather that might be available during the spring or summer. So for us as a team, and by team I mean New Fan Playbook, what's ahead for us, knowing that football season is over? Learning does not stop, so we keep learning. In the coming weeks, we'll be learning about the different NFL teams. So you've heard me mention Denver Broncos, Baltimore Ravens, and I know for a lot of people you might just be wondering, what does this mean? So we'll be looking at the 32 teams that play in the NFL, the conferences they play in, the cities they play in, what's the history behind some of these teams, what's the culture behind some of these teams. We'd also take a step down to college as well. We'll be looking at college football, which teams are notable, which conferences do we have in college football. College football has a lot of wonderful rivalries, so we'll also touch these rivalries to see the history behind it and how much it means to people that have gone to either these schools or that alumni or people that even stay in some of these college cities. So we'll also be looking at college football. NFL draft is approaching soon, and the draft is where players from the mostly from the college scene make it to the NFL. So we'll be looking at the NFL draft. What does it entail? How many people get drafted? How's the format like? And what do players stand to gain when they go through this NFL draft process? So we'll look at that. Would also hopefully get some of our friends that have played football in different capacities to come sit with us and just share their experience with us about football, life after football and things like that. The FIFA World Cup is approaching as well. So we'll be looking at the cross intersection of American football and the real football, soccer. Yes, my brother. So we'll look at how both games, how have they crossed paths in the past few years? Are there similarities? Are there differences? And if you're a soccer fan, how can you easily relate to American football? And if you're an American football fan and you want to understand soccer, what are the things you should also watch out for? So in short, there's so much lined up for us in the coming episodes, so I want you to still pay attention to new fan playbook. There's so much for us to learn, and I'm also willing to learn from you guys. So if there are interesting topics that you want us to speak to, just put them in the comment section. If there's maybe previous episodes that we spoke to that we still don't completely understand and we want some more deliberation on it, put in the comment as well, and I'm going to be very excited to be speaking to those. So I really want to appreciate you guys for the support so far. Thank you for supporting this so far, and I know we would still have so many exciting episodes to come in the future. As I call it a day, I want to encourage you guys, please continue sharing this with your friends. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Please like our videos. I want your engagement. Please drop your comments in our comment section. And until we get to see you again next time, take care of yourself.